Students, after discussing a number of important aspects relating to the motivation, you have seen that motivation is a very important phenomena wherein efforts are made to encourage and motivate and awaken the employees in such a way that they are ready to serve the organization. Motive here is that a kind of effort is made that all individuals who are working in the organization, they come forward. You have seen different aspects, different issues, different kinds of aspects relating to the motivation at length in our previous discussions. Well, students, now we are at the concluding session. In this concluding session, we are going to see the current issues in motivation. You can ask one thing here, that of course motivation is a very important activity on the part of the management. Why the understanding the current issues and practicing or predicting the employee's motivation is one of the most important popular areas of management? I want to tell you here that the understanding of the current issues and predicting employee motivation is one of the most important areas of management, because there are significant current workplace issues which exist in the current age that affect the employee motivation in the organization. Students, when we look at the current motivational issues in organizations, we find three important things. We can think of discussing the three important things. These are the cross-cultural challenges. Second one is the motivating unique group of workers. And third is the designing appropriate reward program. If you look at the motivating unique group of workers, you find here four things are to be taken into consideration, like motivating a diverse workforce, motivating professionals, motivating contingent workers, and also motivating low-skilled minimum wage employees. Another important thing is the designing of appropriate reward program. Here you can think of again four issues, four aspects, which are about the open book management, employee recognition programs, and what you call pay for performance, and also stock option programs in the organization. The current motivation issues, which start from the cross-cultural challenges, are considered as something very important to understand or bring some kind of important changes in the existing structure of the motivational aspects being used in the organization. It will be, friends, worthwhile for us if we have a look at all these motivational issues one by one. Friends, the current motivational issues consisting of cross-cultural challenges, motivating unique group of workers, and designing appropriate reward programs require specific focus here, so that you understand that how the motivational issues are being dealt in the current market scenario. What is happening in the organizations? What is happening in the system will be seen now. So we are going to throw some special light on the different aspects, different issues relating to the motivation. Students, motivational programs are most applicable in cultures where individualism and quality of life are cultural characteristics. The uncertainty, avoidance of some cultures inverts Maslow's need hierarchy. The need for achievement is lacking in other cultures. However, the collectivist culture view rewards as entitlements. The entitlements to be distributed and which are based on individual needs, not on individual performance. What we see here is the motivational programs where we cannot find that all cultures are same. Something which is acceptable in one culture may not be acceptable in another culture. So here we should take into consideration the individualism and the quality of life. These are basically the cultural characteristics. Now, interesting work is widely desired in many cultures, as is growth, also achievement and responsibility. In case of motivating unique group of workers, we find 4 aspects to take into consideration. We will also take these one by one. First of all, motivating a diverse workforce. Students, there is something called flexibility. You should understand the concept of flexibility in motivating the diverse workforce. The employees working in organizations are diverse, are heterogeneous. We don't expect complete homogeneity in the system. You can say that men desire more autonomy than do women. Try to understand. Women desire learning opportunities. They desire flexible work schedule and good interpersonal relationship in the organization. Here, in order to understand the entire concept of motivating a diverse workforce, we find first thing is the flexible work or flexible job schedules. What we can look forward to motivate the employees. Compressed work week. Students, now, compressed work week means that longer daily hours but fewer days. Proper weekend, long weekend, for example. Then comes the flexible work hours. It is again another aspect, another offshoot of the work which is to be done in a flexible way. What is expected and what is done in this kind of situation where we have the flexible work hours, we have here specific weekly hours with varying arrival, departure, lunch, break, etc. And why this arrival, departure, lunch and break times around certain core hours during which all the employees must be present. It is at the convenience of the employees that they choose their work. And of course, after the corona, many companies have adopted a new philosophy of work life. Nowadays, we all think and talk about the work from home, remote working. Those people who are working from home or those who are indulging into remote working, they spend some time in organization also. But basically, they have a kind of freedom. They have freedom to work. This freedom to work is called as the flexible work hours, where employees particularly choose their time of arrival and departure. There is no imposition from the organization that they will be having lunch at this time or this is the break time. In case of motivating the employees, another important thing, or in case of motivating unique group of workers, another important thing is the job sharing. Students, two or more people can split a full-time job. How interesting that situation would be. When one job is being shared by two or more persons. Another important thing regarding the motivating unique group of workers is the telecommuting, students. Here, you can take the employees working from home using computer links, etc. In other words, employees will be having a lot of energy. Their commitment to work will also be high. It doesn't mean that I am advising that they should be telecommuting or there should be flexible work hours. This is one of the ways, one of the most available. Because you see, in recent years, the circumstances are changing. Quality of life, work life is changing. Methodologies are changing. When we talk about the change scenario in the industry, in the organization as a whole, we should not ignore the flexible work or job schedules, wherein there is a big role of the employees and of course of employers. It's another important thing that you need to understand here is the motivating professionals as a part of the unique group of workers. Motivation of the unique group of workers. By motivating professionals, we mean here that we are going to motivate the professionals. You know, there are some motivators for professionals which are used, like job challenge, like organizational support of their work. Students, there are some characteristics of the professionals which we should take into consideration before we go to the next aspect. Here, we talk about the strong and long-term commitment to their field of expertise. Loyalty is to their professions, not to their employer. They have the need to regularly update their knowledge. Because, with outdated knowledge, they will become stale. The knowledge will become outdated. Here, don't define their work week as 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. This way, we can think of the motivation of the employees. Students, after motivating professionals, now we are going to talk about the motivation of the contingent workers. Contingent workers are also very important for organization. Their motivation is also very important, students. There must be opportunities to become a permanent employee. There must be an opportunity for training. There must be equity in compensation and benefits, so that if all these things are done, in relation to the contingent workers, I can ensure that the zeal to work will be enhanced tremendously. Their level of commitment will go up tremendously. They will be working very hard to achieve the goals of organization. And students, one more thing which is considered as an important aspect is motivating low skilled or minimum wage of employees. There must be the employee recognition programs in the organization. There must be provision for sincere praise of the employees. Low skilled and minimum wage employees, students, are slightly people who are having low standard. For them, some special arrangement is expected by the organization to ensure that they are not being deprived of their basic right. Third important aspect, students, is designing appropriate rewards program. We can talk about a few important issues, important aspects relating to the motivation of employees by way of designing appropriate reward programs. More specifically, we can talk about the open book management. Students, this is not examination that we are talking about, the open book management. This open book management for motivation of employees is something that involves employees in workplace decision by opening up the financial statements of the employers, where the employees can peep into. Another important mechanism of designing appropriate reward program is the employees recognition program. I have already mentioned invariably that employees are basically human beings, giving personal attention and expressing interval, approval and appreciation for a work or job done is very important to raise the morale of the employees. But employees will feel that they are being appreciated. We can think of enhanced values from them. And students, we should not forget the pay for performance as an important reward program. While designing the appropriate reward programs, you should also understand that there is pay for performance. Students, variable compensation plans that reward employees on the basis of their performance. That is the piece rate, wage incentives, profit sharing and lump sum bonuses. Then comes a very important thing called stock option programs. Students, using financial instruments in lieu of monetary compensation that give employees the right to purchase shares of a company at a set option, set price, often have value if the stock prices rise above the option price. They become worthless if the stock price falls below the option price. So, stock option plan is also about the designing of the appropriate reward program. Here, we look at this table to find out the recommendations for designing stock option. What we find here? Three boxes are there, three columns are there. In the first column, we have question. In the second column, we have the choice. And in the third column, we have the recommendation. Let us see. We are learning here the stock options, students. And we are going to see who receives them. Students, It is a broad-based or restricted kind of activity, and it matches companies' growth prospects and management style and organizational culture together. Then comes how many? That is a number. Large or small percentage of employee income is an important consideration here, which we match, where we match the company's growth prospects, whether it is having any kind of indication of prosperity or not. Another important thing, students, is the how many. You know, many of few options in previous grants know that large previous grants may increase recipients' risk aversion. It should match with business cycle. Terms shorter than 10 years can create stronger pay for performance relationships. Last thing, how often? Students, the choices may be of two types, fixed or variable. In case of the predictable grants, you find that it may reduce incentive alignment or incentive alignment prospects. And internal equity issues may result from schedules that result in growth in variety of exercise prices. So students, now the question comes, at what price? What is the price? So the choices for price are fair market value, premium, discounted, or you can say index. Employees must view stock option exercise prices as feasible and believe that the chosen benchmarks are totally appropriate. When we talk about the ownership, simply means what ownership we are talking about. Two things are to be taken into consideration. That is holding requirements after exercise and also optimizing guidelines. The holding requirements after exercise consider requiring recipients to hold some of their shares after their exercise, encourages better incentive alignment. And also, in case of the ownership guidelines, we find that there is a clear general ownership guideline that can be used to increase. Students, now we have come to the concluding part of a very important function of management, wherein we see from theory to practice the guidelines for motivating the employees. Here we will see different kinds of suggestions for motivating the employees working in the organization. Students, workers, when work in organizations, they are sometimes crude, sometimes they are like a raw, and they're basically not aware of the benefits of working hard. They are sometimes ignorant also. I can call it as ignorance also. Sometimes because of the illiteracy, sometimes because of the poverty, sometimes because of many other reasons that we don't want to discuss here. We find that there is a very important necessity, there is an important need to bring out some changes, bring out some amendments in their style of work. Students, the suggestions for motivation consist of a number of aspects. We will see these aspects one by one. You can see that recognizing the individual differences, matching people to job, using goals, ensuring that goals are perceived as attainable, individualized rewards are given, linking rewards to performance, checking the system for equity, and not ignoring the money part. Let us see these all practical aspects in details so that we can truly motivate the employees. So here we talk about the special remedial steps which can be effective in theory as well as in practice for the purpose of motivation of the employees. First thing, students, is to recognize individual differences. We are talking about the suggestions for motivation, where we find that differences have no space. Individual differences should not exist there. If we want to rectify this system, if we see that if there is some lack on the part of the employees to get fully motivated, we should recognize individual differences. We can say that almost every contemporary theory recognizes that all employees are not identical. I have also mentioned in my discussions many times that employees are basically heterogeneous. Their groups are not homogeneous groups. Reasons are logical too. Employees are human beings. One word answer is they are human beings. And we know that human beings have different needs, different attitude, different personality, different kind of behavior, different kind of feelings. They have different kinds of knowledge, different kind of skills and different kinds of abilities. While motivating the employees, we should understand there is no uniform set of procedure which can be applied to different categories of employees working in the organization because of the reason that the employees are not identical. They have different kinds of requirements. So it's the first thing. Second thing is also important because of which the employees remain demotivated. We are trying to create a kind of environment in organization wherein everybody is motivated, fully charged. Employees should be carefully matched with the jobs. Students, think of matching people to the job, not jobs to the people. One thing very important is that high achievers should have jobs that allow them to participate in setting challenging goals. It should allow them to involve in autonomy and feedback also. What do we want here? We want that the people should be matched with the jobs. Match people to the job, not job to the people. Employees, if are carefully matched with their jobs, they will feel highly motivated, highly charged. And we find that when employees are fully satisfied with their job, they will definitely work hard to achieve the goals of the organization. Students, for us, what is important is the goals Goals means the organization has come into existence because of achieving these goals. And if these goals remains unfulfilled, the prosperity of organization will not take place. It will not be prosperous. It will not diversify. So students, in order to ensure that there is all going well in organization, we should think of matching people to the jobs. Students, not only the jobs should be matched with the people, managers should assure that employees have hard specific goals and feedback on how well they are doing in achieving these goals, which means we should think of using the goals as mentioned earlier too. And it should be ensured that the goals are pursued as attainable. Students, I want to tell you one thing here. Basically, by and large, the goals are attainable. Goals are attainable, and employees who see that goals are unattainable, who see that the goals are unattainable, they will reduce their efforts because they will be thinking, why bother? They close their eyes in anticipation that nothing good is going to happen. So why should I bother for it? So the overall impact on organization is not considered as worthwhile. After thinking about how we are linking the goals with individuals, we should always think of one thing, which is everybody's need. And here, students, every employee has different needs. What act as a reinforcer for one may not be for other person. So managers should use their knowledge of employee differences to individualize the reward they control, such as pay, promotion, autonomy, etc. All are different. This is the point which we have understood, which we have understood in clear sense. Because there is a logic. Employees are human beings. We already mentioned invariably in our previous discussion. And every employee has different needs. Needs are not common for each other. So it is a role that the manager has to perform, has to play by using his knowledge of employees' differences to individualize the reward. I again remind you, it is about individualizing the reward so that we find the commitment from one and all. Students, what we look forward through the motivation, we look forward commitment, we look forward cooperation, we look forward contribution. We have to attain all these things for organization on the one hand by giving them best options on the other. Employees are the pillars for organization. By individualizing the rewards, we can think of maintaining some parities in the organization. And friends, one important thing that managers have to think twice, that they need to make reward associated with the performance. They have to link rewards to performance. Then only they will be able to motivate the employees. The motivation will not come by saying only. Motivation will come by performance. Motivation will come by way of doing something extraordinary. And the job can be performed by the managers. who have to make the rewards associated with the performance. Students, employees are expected to pursue the rewards or outcomes are equal to the inputs. They should check the system for equity. They should simply think of separated rewards for each job. This is the way by means of which the employees will be fully motivated. Students, recognition is something which everybody looks forward. Nobody in this world is such who doesn't think of recognition. We are talking about the motivation of the employees and we are discussing some suggestions wherein we can motivate employees to a highest level of commitment. We should think about recognizing the power of recognition. Students, using recognition is a low-cost means to reward employees. No investment, bigger rewards. This is how we can seek cooperation. We can seek support. We can make our employees as homogeneous. We can make our employees goal-directed. We can find our employees giving best to the organization. Employees will give their best to the organizations if they are recognized. Friends, we should always recognize the power of recognition. Investment in the form of recognition will work sometimes more than the investment in terms of money. Because human touch is required. What is needed is the human touch. Employees are human beings. When we are addressing to their problems, we should handle their problems in a spirit of mutual trust and confidence. We should use our heart and brain while handling to their problems. We are talking about the motivation of the employees. We are talking about the factors which will motivate the employees more. Employees may not be motivated until and unless we have human heart and human brain while addressing to their problems. Friends, employees perform better for managers who care about them. Those managers who show care and concern to their employees in such organizations, the results are always good. We find a high degree of commitment and concern from those employees who perform under the supervision, or I must call it under the patronage of their managers. When we talk about the patronage of the managers, it means the managers are going to care for them. It just instills interest, dedication, commitment, and results are seen by one and all. Students, one more thing which we should not forget, that is, if we are talking about the motivation, in that case, one thing is important. In Hindi, we say, somebody has said in Hindi, "Bhuke pet bhajan na ho Gopala." The students, do not ignore money. Creating interesting jobs and providing opportunities for participation. Remember that money is the major reason why most people work. which should not be ignored at all. Students, you have seen that employees are to be handled with care. Employees are so innocent, so simple, that just by creating a motivating climate, we can find all-round changes in the organization. Now we are going to conclude this discussion in the light of few points that are coming to my mind, students. We are talking about the motivation of the employees, how the motivation should be done, how to create motivating climate in the organization. Students, one thing is always on the top to take into consideration is that motivate yourself before you motivate your subordinates. One has to motivate himself before he is motivating to his subordinates. The employees will work to the fullest of their capacity and capability if we explore ourselves and if we consider that what motivates the subordinates. If we understand their feelings and support them, they will be motivated to do the work in a very systematic way. Students, the employees should keep the organizational goals with the individual goals. Now, the point to take into consideration. What do we mean by the organizational goals and the individual goals? The managers and supervisors should know what they want from their subordinates. Number one. Those should be based on the goals of the organization. The individual goals and the goals of organization should go in one direction. They should not go in different directions. Students, each employee will be motivated in organization, and each employee is motivated by different things. We have to find out what is that really motivates each of the subordinates by asking them, by listening to them, and by observing to them. We should think of showing verbal praise immediately after any staff completes his work or her work or her project or his project successfully. It should be specific and honest. Human being will feel elevated by appreciation, and it should be given like labor charges to a worker immediately after he performs his job. Similarly, if anything good is done, the boss should immediately show the feelings, specific feelings, honest feelings. And students, in every organization, one more thing is to take into consideration is to create an atmosphere of transparency. All the staff should be treated equally. All the staff should be informed about the decisions in order to avoid any ill feeling among the staff. Transparency is required. In the absence of the transparent environment at the place of work, employees can develop the ill will and they will not be thinking about the organization in that situation. We want that all the staff members should be treated equally and should be informed about the decisions so that they don't indulge into any kind of conflicting attitude. Also, friends, at the concluding point in my discussion, I want to tell you that the organization should encourage an atmosphere of healthy competition among the staff, so that they should be motivated to put their best in the department, in the organization. This encouragement is very important. Environment should be created in such a way that employees are having a feel of contentment. Employees will be contented, highly motivated through the rewards. Students, one more thing that I want to share with you regarding the motivation is the loyalty. Whose loyalty I'm talking about? I'm talking about the loyalty of the management now. The management has to be loyal to his staff. Management has to be loyal to their staff, and then only they will be loyal to you. It is not one-way traffic. Love begets love. Respect begets respect. Loyalty begets loyalty. We don't do anything and we expect others to respond. How come? They will not be. It is the kind of process of give and take, process of sacrifice, wherein we can find that things can be made more perfect in order. We want to have our organization as the best organization. So we should be loyal to our staff. Then only they will be loyal to us. This is a very important point, students. And we should try to provide good work environment. As mentioned earlier, again I am telling you at concluding point that the organization should try to provide good work environment where the staff can work, relax and also have fun. What kind of fun? That really enhance the quality of work and job satisfaction. Students, good infrastructure, good support system can definitely change the outlook and the behavior of the employees. And students, if management has one-on-one meeting with each staff are motivated more. If we show our concern towards them and give attention to them, get to know their families, their hobbies, etc., and have individual meetings with them, we can find that they will be highly charged. Their level of charging will be at the peak. Students, now a concluding remark about the motivation. In the last few sessions about the motivation in this week, you might have understood that motivation influences many aspects of life and helps explain different causes of behavior. Motivation, students, aids in survival and accounts for variation in any individual's behavior and guides the action. Motivation operates in a cycle. You know why? Because, students, motivation drives the human being to reach their goals and organizational goals through every challenge and constant role that they can play at the place of work. Here, if they consider it as an advantage to go ahead in the direction they have put for themselves, the need of achievement always results in a desire to do extra effort, to have something done better and have that desire for success. In this way, we found here that motivation is a drive that works as a motivator for employees, where they accept all kinds of challenges and work under the different difficult type of environment. Thank you very much. So students, with this we conclude this week's discussion about the motivation. Thank you very much.